Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back for a Tuesday edition of the Steel City Sports Report, where we talk all things Steelers, Penguins, and Pirates. I am your host, Brady Vini, and today's report includes news and notes from Mike Tomlin's season-ending press conference. Wide receiver George Pickens showed up late on multiple occasions. Multiple Pittsburgh Penguins players could be returning to the lineup tonight, and more. As always, please be sure to like, comment, and share this video, as well as subscribe to the channel. Now let's get into the first news story of the day. News and notes from Mike Tomlin's season-ending press conference. It is once again the end of another disappointing season for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and head coach Mike Tomlin held his end-of-the-year press conference this afternoon. For the final time this season, here are some notes from Coach T's presser. Tomlin opened by expressing his disappointment in the season coming to an end the way it did, but said there is no injustice because, quote, you get what you've got coming to you. He added that a team meeting was held yesterday, exit meetings will begin today, and that the offseason process is just beginning. Part of that offseason process will be changes made to the coaching staff, among others on many levels. Tomlin said, I think changing in coaching staffs are a component of our business. I don't think all of our coaches are under contract, so change is a component of it, and I acknowledge it, but we are at the very early stages of making those types of decisions and discussions. Please let those changes be one or both of the coordinators and the O-line coach. Next, Tomlin said that he and General Manager Omar Khan will meet later this week to explore all potential options at quarterback. With not a single quarterback under contract right now, the first candidate that Tomlin mentioned for the starting job next year is Justin Fields. Coach T said that Fields took steps in several areas last year, and we all know Tomlin loves a QB with mobility, which Fields has in spades. Lastly, Tomlin addressed his job security and becoming public enemy number one by Steelers Nation, saying, I understand the frustrations, and to be quite honest, I share it. He later added that he has and will continue to change his approach over the playoff drought, saying, we've had similar results, rest assured that we're not doing the same thing, hoping for a different result. We have adapted, we have altered our approach. Well, Mike, whatever the hell you have been changing clearly isn't working. Figure it out. Tomlin also put to bed any speculations of him getting traded, sending a message to any team inquiring about his services to, quote, save your time. The rest of the press conference was filled with your typical Tomlin answers that either didn't answer the question or downright deflected it, one of which you're going to want to hear in the next segment. One thing's for sure, this is going to be a pivotal offseason, not just for Tomlin, but for the Steelers franchise as a whole. George Pickens showed up late on multiple occasions. This offseason for the Pittsburgh Steelers is filled with many questions, especially when it comes to who all will be on the roster next season. We can talk all day about the numerous free agents set to leave, but one name that will be mentioned as possibly leaving the Steelers all offseason long is wide receiver George Pickens. Undoubtedly, Pickens was the only threat in the wide receiver room, and I don't need any stats to explain how better the offense was with him on the field than it was with him off it. However, the question now becomes, is his production worth the problems? Everybody knows about Pickens' multiple problems from this past season. Fighting opposing players, not going 100% on every play, wanting to fight fans, and more. Now a new report from the Athletics Steelers beat reporter Mike DeFabo shows that Pickens showed up late to team events on multiple occasions this season. In an excerpt from DeFabo's report, he said, when he was finally healthy, how did he respond? By showing up late for the Christmas Day game against the Kansas City Chiefs. Tomlin asks players to report to games at least 2 hours before kickoff. On December 25th, Pickens walked through the media entrance an hour and 25 minutes before kickoff. That was after inactive players were announced. DeFabo revealed more details on 93.7 The Fan, adding that Pickens was often late for practice and other team functions. No matter how irreplaceable he may be, this is unacceptable behavior from Pickens, especially as the team's number one wide receiver. In all honesty, the Steelers need to start looking into trading Pickens, or at the very least, hold off on giving him an extension until next year and make him prove his maturity. One part that I left out of today's segment on Tomlin's press conference were questions about Pickens' behavior and if he actually did show up late on Christmas Day. Talking about Pickens and his growth, Tomlin said there is, quote, a heck of a lot of ground to be covered. As for the reported Christmas Day tardiness, Tomlin answered that he has a lot going on before games and can't definitively say if Pickens was late. That answer was filled with a lot of ums, making it feel like Tomlin knew GP was late. Because Tomlin allowed such behavior, it's starting to look like you can soon throw George Pickens on the large pile of wide receivers to run themselves out of Pittsburgh. news on other Steelers players from around the locker room. This segment here is just going to be some news from the last 24 to 36 hours on multiple Steelers players that I really couldn't organize in any way. First, yesterday was the Steelers locker room cleanout day, and some players have interviews during that time. One player who declined his interview was safety Minkah Fitzpatrick, who simply said, "I'm not trying to be an a-hole, but I don't have anything I want to communicate to the masses right now." Fitzpatrick also declined post-game interviews after the Steelers' playoff loss last Saturday, making this an unceremonious end to an unproductive season for him. Next, a report came out Monday afternoon that linebacker Patrick Queen was nowhere near 100% for last Sunday's playoff game. NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport reported that Queen received 4 IV bags before that game to combat a bad case of the flu. With that, Queen toughed it out and played, recording 10 total tackles, 4 of which were solo, and 1 tackle for loss. Lastly, Steelers outside linebacker TJ Watt emphasized heading into last Saturday's game that he wanted to get his first playoff win. With that not happening, many, including I, wouldn't blame Watt if he wanted to go play elsewhere. However, Watt made it clear in an interview yesterday, quote, "I want to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. I want to be part of the solution. I love the people here. I want to be part of the solution." Watt also went to bat for head coach Mike Tomlin, saying that the team needs to perform better and that Coach T means more to the organization on a personal and team level than people could possibly know. There will probably be more news on other players as exit meetings continue. Multiple Pittsburgh Penguins players could be returning to the lineup tonight. Tonight, the Pittsburgh Penguins wrap up a disappointing 5-game homestand when they host old head coach Dan Bylsma and the Seattle Kraken. But before tonight's game, some good news came out of the Penguins practice facility. Looking at the line combinations from this morning's skate, forwards Evgeny Malkin and Michael Bunting were reinserted into line rushes, with forwards Matt Nieto and Jesse Puljujärvi being the odd men out. This is a good sign for both men after Gino has missed the past handful of games with an upper body injury, and Bunting won't miss any time after being involved in a car accident prior to Sunday's game against the Tampa Bay Lightning. According to head coach Mike Sullivan, Bunting is available for tonight's game, so he should be back in the lineup. Meanwhile, Malkin is a game-time decision and will need to be activated off IR to play. With Malkin and Bunting back, this will be the first game in a while in which the Penguins are at full health and at just the right time before heading out on a 7-game road trip. In net for the Pens tonight will be Tristan Jarry opposite Joey Dackard for the Kraken, and puck drop will be at 7 p.m. And finally, the Pirates will have these 13 non-roster invitees at spring training. We are 72 days away from opening day, but before that, we are about a month away from pitchers and catchers reporting for the beginning of spring training. With the days getting longer and the weather getting warmer, the Pittsburgh Pirates yesterday announced that they have invited 13 non-roster invitees to their 2025 spring training Major League camp. The list of those invited includes catcher Abraham Gutierrez, infielders Dara Hall, Malcolm Nunez, and Nick Solak, outfielder Bryce Johnson, and right-handed pitchers Carson Fulmer, Isaac Matson, Tanner Rainey, Johan Ramirez, Yeri Rodriguez, Birch Smith, Hunter Stratton, and Eddie Yan. Looking at this list, you have former top 30 prospects for the Pirates, such as Gutierrez and Nunez, players who have been with the Pirates' main club before, like Ramirez and Stratton, and some guys hoping to keep their big league dreams alive, like Solak and Rainey. I think there's a good shot that you see some of these guys not necessarily make the opening day roster, but appear with the Bucks at some point in the season. I get that the Pirates had a disappointing offseason worth firing everyone running the organization so far, but sometimes you just can't help yourself getting excited that baseball is right around the corner. Like I said at the end of yesterday's video, the Pirates will have no better opportunity to be the talk of the town once again than they do right now. Just please go get Major League talent so we have some hope to sneak into the back door of the playoffs. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up a Tuesday edition of the Steel City Sports Report. Again, please be sure to like, comment, and share this video, as well as subscribe to the channel. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys back here tomorrow with some more Pittsburgh sports news.